Today is Saturday, October 6th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for episode 2 of Survivor, David versus Goliath.
That's right. We're in week 2, and this is the show where we turn it over to you, the other super fans, to weigh in with your thoughts, analysis, and predictions. Joanne and I, after the episode airs on Wednesday nights, do a recap, try to get as many of the big broad strokes and our observations packed in there, and then we turn it over to you guys on Saturdays. How many folks do we have?
19, I believe.
19. Outstanding. So we got a lot to cover. Anything we need to say before we get going?
I don't believe so.
All right, let's kick it off with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, my goodness. What an amazing episode. What a fantastic doozy-woozy episode. Let me get right into it. First of all, guys, I really am impressed with Davies there. I never would have thought he would be the one to find the idol on the David tribe. And my hat's off to Davy right there. Hopefully he's able to keep it a secret long enough and play it right. I really am starting to like him, and I love Christian and Gabby. They really are becoming big-time players, especially Christian. And then Nick, too. Nick now went from being a potential first boot. Now he's in, it looks like a solid alliance with the nerds, which is Gabby and Christian, or you could say Aubrey and Steven. And he thinks he's JT. That's hilarious. But anyway, guys, it was sad to see Jess go. I actually liked her and thought she had potential. She wasn't going to win. She probably would have been a coattail rider, which is why she was close with Kyle and B right there. She was in the middle of it, keeping it together, and that's why they got rid of her. But man, I really thought Larissa was gonna go. She dodged a bullet there, and my head's off to him, that girl Elizabeth, for making it happen there, and Gabby. I think what happened was B and Jess made a as you would say, Stacy, a tactical error there when they didn't say anything to Gabby when she asked what the plan was. That right there was an indication that, something's not right. Shame on B especially. She got way overconfident. We'll see what happens next episode now, and I'm worried for Kyle, too. And real quick, the Goliath tribe, all I gotta say is Dan is just making me sick with the romance. I actually like Kara. She's working it good, but I'd love to see Dan get blindsided with the idol. That would be delicious there. But the person I really can't stand is Natalie. She is so delusional. She does not see what she is and how she's rubbing her tribe the wrong way. She will be the first one to go on that team if they somehow lose. And I'm starting to like Jeremy working with Mike, too. So we'll see what happens, guys. But I did not see this happening at all. Jess getting blindsided. And what do you think, guys? I think now Carl and B are the two in trouble on that team. But we shall see. Great episode. Woo!
Thanks, Pete. Can they afford to lose Carl and B?
I definitely don't think they could afford to lose Carl, but I think B's stock might have gone down after that last challenge. Though she was, I mean, nobody else did all three. She did everything.
Yeah.
And for that, I commend her, but I don't know that was smart on their part to have her do all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe
or
not
her part.
Maybe not the best, but she may not have felt like she had a choice either with the material they got to work with there.
True, but...
Yeah. they're definitely working from a disadvantage, I think, in most challenges that have a physical component. I would say, Pete, check out the extra videos for sure, because it's just a really quick moment and you can miss it. And it's really more about Alec than it is Natalie. But Natalie pops this awesome smile. You can tell that she's just enjoying and laughing, and she's very happy in the moment when Alec is presenting their first rice meal to him, doing his waiter voice.
Rice and coconut.
Yeah, and but it was a really good moment to see her where she's not scowling. They're only showing her scowling or disagreeing or getting in somebody's face. Evidently, she's been riding Natalia really hard. She's just picked her as the one to fight with, to try to draw the target off of herself somehow. I'm not sure I understand that logic. But
because Natalia took the lead role, saying, I'm an engineer, I can build the shelter, and Natalie started right in on her about how she was doing everything wrong, is what they said.
That's how Jeremy explained it. There's just some really good extra videos, I would say. There's some good extra insights. And if you needed any further evidence of Jessica's naivety or her general lack of experience on the whole thing, her day after is pretty good too, from that perspective, if you did want just another little taste of that. So, okay, thanks, Pete. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Mike in New York. Hey, Joanne and Stacy, I learned about your podcast last season. I've been listening since, and this is my first time giving my analysis and feedback on an episode. Outstanding. Good job. Glad to have you, Mike. Following Pat's medevac, I definitely think that cemented Nick's position in the David tribe, keeping him safe despite his early laziness around camp. His strength will be much desired. I'll add there that, again, extra videos give some more insight. It gave him a wake-up call, and he changed his game in response to the signals that he got from his first mistakes. Dan, again, shows his blindness to what would be somewhat obvious red flags 37 seasons deep into Survivor, aside from his clear showmance with Cara, which he somehow thinks he's hiding as they snuggle together and discuss the game all night. But how secure he thought his idol was hidden in his jacket pocket. But in his defense, it was wrapped in a sock. No one would even think about checking inside the sock, right? Yeah, good sarcasm. All right, Jeremy again shows he's got a mind for this game, and we'll see if he's able to catch on to this three-girl alliance and their affiliated guys. But as it looks right now, the Goliaths probably won't have to worry about going to tribal anytime soon. Once it does happen, we'll see if they take the easy route and take out Natalie, or go at each other and take out Natalie as an easy vote another time. I found it cool how early in the episode Christian and Nick said they both weren't in power-making positions, even if Christian was bluffing to make him seem not as much of a threat to Nick. Then both ended up being in the power positions on whether Jessica or Lyrsa was going home, and ended up pulling the trigger on Jessica with the Thoroughbreds or their Mason-Dixon alliance, or whatever Nick wants his alliance to be called at this point. I love how Jeff read the vote and how everything was edited, because going into tribal, I thought Lyrsa was going home despite some murmurs and ideas thrown around about Jessica going home. Maybe Jessica and B should have given Gabby more security about who was voting for Lyrsa, even if they weren't sure who was voting for her. Just make conversation and make her feel a part of the loop. Jessica could have very likely sealed her fate then, on top of being viewed as the connector between Carl and B. Love seeing blindsides like this, no matter how early. Love how Davey is building his stock with an idol fine, and I like seeing how John tried to pull in Natalie as someone he could possibly work with, but it just looks like she doesn't want to work with anyone. I like seeing Elizabeth's willingness to play the game as well and stick by Lyrsa's side. While Alec may at times look like he doesn't know too much about what's going on, he's building his stock in challenges, and his surfer, easygoing personality may work to his favor, like Fabio from season 21. Oh, and Christian is still awesome. Didn't think I'd like this guy as much as I do, and I love his comment with Gabby. Do you want to play with me in the sand? This guy is awesome. We got several in the sand references in the feedback this week. I hope you enjoy the feedback, and I look forward to listening. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Mike. You did great out of the gate. Good job. Next up, got a call from Shea.
Hey, guys. It's Shea. This season, I think, might be one of my favorite seasons. I think I can say that this early. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to start with things I want to say. Here, a random thought. The Goliath team isn't just big, they are smart as well. So a puzzle at the end of each challenge isn't going to save the David team, unfortunately. I love Elizabeth, and finally she dropped to her skivvies. Until challenges where she means business and apparently needs the cowboy hat. Lyrsa may not have won the challenge alone, but she was part of the only challenge that has been won, which is why I think she was fighting for herself. Yeah, she didn't do it alone. It took Kristen to help with the puzzle, but that's the only challenge they've won, and she was a part of it. So why everybody else keeps calling her weak, I don't know. The power couple. I don't think the women on the Goliath team have the men wrapped around anything, and I think it's pretty cocky of them to think so. Dan may be a puppy over Kara. Sorry, Joanne. But Alec and John are playing their own game. I haven't heard much of Jessica outside of her story about her mother, but when I did, it was decided quickly that I didn't like her. And I was disappointed that B, even if unknowingly, partnered up with Jess to be the mean girls of the David tribe. I felt bad for Abby. Speaking of Abby, though, she fell apart and showed a part of herself I'm sure she didn't want to show. She reminded me of some sweet girl from a Lifetime movie who has another side when she gets slighted by the cute boy. It was really bizarre at how quickly she changed. Elizabeth, again, she is not only funny, but she's smart. She is so the one who saw why it would be smart to take out Jess. Not only for the reasons that Elizabeth listed, but I think it was smart to get Jess out, because if she made the merge, she would so melt under the Goliath guy's charm. You know she would. The looks on Jessica's face before she realized she was in danger were so funny at Tribal Council. But the look on her face after she realized it was going to be her just cracked us up. I mean, it was the rewind moment of the week. We must have watched it 2 or 3 times. I really liked Mike and Jeremy hanging out together. Jeremy's attempt to calm down Natalie was comical. I liked John making a move, even though it didn't work out. And at least so far, Natalie hasn't dropped John's name for stirring her up. I hope she sticks around for a while. I'm sorry, Joanne, but she's just good TV. I mean, I don't have to be out there with her, so she could stay as long as she wants. I think she's funny. Not that she's trying to be. I enjoyed the episode every bit as much as the first, and I just don't see how people aren't enthralled with this season. There are so many characters and so many moving parts, and the challenges are just off the chart so far. There are lots of new things that I've never seen before, and I've been watching since season 1. I can't wait until next week, and I cannot wait to hear what everybody else has to say. And again, thank you for your part, which absolutely adds to the show. Talk to you guys next week.
Thanks, Shay. Good job.
You know, we were talking about Natalie this week, and I said, I think I've seen little clues, you know, in clips and stuff, that she may well have a sense of humor and be funny at times. And I think that she won't go very deep in the game. I could be wrong about that, because I do think the longer they're safe, other people are going to become bigger targets, and people are going to start, oh, we can get her out anytime, so they don't bother. But I think that's just because that's the role they have assigned her. And we know in the past they'll choose a particular role they want somebody to play, and they only show the footage that supports that.
Yep.
And I kind of suspect that might be going on there. And that, yes, she can be annoying, but I'm not certain that she's that way all the time.
Yeah, I think KimJ's got a little insight she's going to shed in that direction when we get to her, too. Thanks again, Shay. Next. Oh, and I'll agree with this cast. I'm enjoying the cast, too. I think that's a great point, and folks brought it up last week as well, I believe. I think some of it is a rebound from Ghost Island, too. Because Ghost Island didn't end. It wasn't a satisfying season, and the premise actually undermined the whole season. And sometimes coming off of those, I won't say it's a bad season, but those lesser seasons, you get one that's good or comes out of the gate good, and it just seems phenomenal in contrast, right? I'm sure there's a bias name for that too.
Well, just that they're not doing the failed Ghost Island gimmick.
There's just a huge
plus.
relief, a bonus in their favor, and then they didn't have to do anything to earn that. Just follow them. Thanks, Shay. Next up, we got a call from Taz.
Hi, Joy and Stacy. This is Taz in Louisiana. Unfortunately, I'm still stuck with Dan as a USB. I haven't been this bummed about my USB since I chose Figgy. Oh, and we all know how that turned out. I have absolutely zero faith in Dan. I don't even know if he'll make it to the merge. But if he does make it to the merge, I'll be sure to dump him as soon as I can. And I'm in the market for a new USB. Anyone have any ideas for me? Well, I didn't lose a safe pick this week. Joanne, I did pretty much exactly what you did. I had Jessica marked as safe, and I went back and rechose Natalia instead. Thank goodness. I'm fairly certain that the David tribe will lose again next week, and my vote-out pick will be from the David tribe. And I'm thinking B. If the David tribe does lose again next week, I'm sure the following week will be drop your buffs. It seems that when one tribe continues to lose at the beginning, they shuffle them up. I also cannot wait for the Goliath tribe to lose so we can say bye-bye to Natalie. That woman is just downright toxic. Well, that's about all I have to say this week. Again, thanks for all you do. Thanks to Steve for the wonderful website, Paul for the roster, and all the participants and anyone else who has anything to do with the show that we enjoy so much. Taz in Louisiana, over and out.
Thank you, Taz. Love hearing your voice and your insights. So if we could give Taz a do-over, who would you recommend he pick at this point, given what we know?
Anybody but Dan.
Anyone but Dan.
I think I've thrown in the towel there, too, just from watching the extra videos.
So you're a good person to
Now I'm kind of
ask.
mad at him.
Yes.
It's like,
how could you be
Dan.
this way in the context of the game? How could you be so this way?
It's like, well,
I'm not putting any labels
we
on
don't
him.
have that much to do with each other during the day. We cuddle at night. We cuddle all night. And this and that.
Strategize.
Hello. Everyone knows on Survivor to watch who they're sleeping by.
Well, sorry, Taz. I tried to give you a hint, but she's just too focused on talking Dan down.
Who would I go with? I don't even know who I would go with. Gee, I don't know. But I'd rather have Kara than Dan.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, she's way ahead of the game.
I'm appreciating Alec more than I thought I would. I kind of wrote him off before the game started, but I'm seeing a different side of him.
He may get a bit of a purple at it. I know we're only 2 episodes in, but he's starting to feel a little purple to me because only because they gave that really good extra video. And when your
but they're not doing it in the show.
When your character's discovered in the extra videos, but you're not featured in the show, that's not a good sign.
Like, where's that guy on the show?
Do that 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and your story's pretty much told.
Yeah, I don't know who I'd go through. My intention is just to wait and see who's there after the merge, who makes it through, and then I'll decide out of those people who I will choose. But I was really hanging on, thinking maybe Dan would pull it back together, but now he's not even cute to me anymore. It just annoys me when he talks about everything.
The dumb made the cute wear off. How's that work? Huh?
Well,
I think I'd have to look at Davey and Jeremy. They would be fun to cheer for at this point. I like them, and Christian would be fun in a quirky way to cheer for as your USB. But I would say the most solid thing to pick right now would be Elizabeth. She's got standout gameplay, and with Angelina, Cara, and Natalia in the wings,
true,
with their 3-lady alliance there and they have become, I believe, the most powerful alliance in the game that we've been shown so far. And Mixed Reality made a comment on the YouTube video from our recap of this week, saying there are all these 2 alliances, and it's true. There's this abundance of 2-person alliances that are linking up. But it prompted me to think, there's this one powerful 3-person alliance that's head and shoulders above the rest. And that has a lot of potential there between Cara, Angelina, and Natalia. But I think you'd have a lot of fun picking Elizabeth as your USB right now if we gave Taz a do-over.
True. Well, and
she's a standout.
Coming into the game, my assessment of Jeremy was, he doesn't have a chance.
Right.
But he showed me a lot more I still think he's misguided at
He's
times.
got game acumen for sure.
Yeah.
And so does Davey. So I got to bump them way up.
But
on
I
their
had said
assessments.
earlier, even though they're grouping him with the girls have the guys that they're grouped with, but they're grouping Jeremy. But I had said, well, what if Natalie ended up being Jeremy was Natalie's person? And just because it would be funny because he's wanting to target her. But then they said, oh, well, Jeremy and Mike are a couple, as far as they're working together. An alliance.
Yep. Good deal. Thanks, Taz. That's prompted a good little discussion there, too. Next up, we got an email from Mike in Omaha.
Joanne and Stacy, after listening to your recap show, I've got to remind Stacy that under no circumstances are Survivor fans allowed to discuss the laws of thermodynamics during the work week or in months that end in the letters BER.
Okay.
Y'all are hilarious and not at all wrong that the editors love poking at what a doofus Christian can be. I am wondering if maybe his edit isn't that of a winner or even someone who does extremely well, but more of just a distinctive character.
I think you got that dialed in right there.
Yeah. I had the Goliaths losing, so to see B and David and the David tribe perform so horrendously bad on that challenge, it was rough. I feel your pain, Joanne. I feel they might have made a mistake here sending Jessica home over Lyrsa. They're reminding me a little bit of Luzon in Cagayan. They aren't quite there yet, but if the next person gone is someone like, say, Davy or B, I think they'll be in Luzon territory. That being said, the alliance of Elizabeth, Lyrsa, Christian, Nick, and Gabby, I have wonderful callback feelings of the freaks and geeks of Kasaya kicking butt and taking names in Survivor Panama. Joanne, I was stupid bold this week because I kept both Lyrsa and Natalie safe this week.
Wow.
Sometimes you got to trust your gut and risk it. You go. That was awesome. I would have never had the guts.
Oh, you
to
get
do
awesome.
that.
I just get stupid.
Well, he was awesome because it worked. If it hadn't worked, then it would have been.
Gotcha.
Okay. Due to the sheer volume of time we've seen the David camp, and even knowing full well that Goliath has won the last two immunities, I can't help but feel the winner is going to be from David. According to Jessica's post-game interviews, Gabby was a good friend of hers and was in absolutely no danger whatsoever of leaving. If this is the case, then Gabby has an emotional weakness in her that makes me worry about her ability to win. I think it was an excellent episode for my USB Elizabeth.
There you go.
It was also a good episode for Nick. It was a bad episode for Gabby, and it was downright awful episode for Natalie. I've turned on Natalie. She reminds me of a Debbie Warner, a complete know-it-all who is totally missing the mark on almost every level, can't listen because they're so caught up in their own thoughts, and was cast for sheer entertainment or shock value. Natalie may be a smart woman, but Stacy nailed it on the head when saying managers are hardly ever leaders. Of course, people will listen to you when you have power over them. It's when you don't have power and you still get a good result that is impressive. Natalie does not seem to grasp that these people are not her employees. I think she figured, why not go out there and try my luck? Ditto for Mike White. But if either of them get especially far at this point, Mike's chances look better than Natalie's. I think I'll be disappointed with the cast for not getting rid of them. I can't really explain myself. School of Rock is a hilarious movie that I love very much, but I still don't want to see Mike do well. Stacy and Joanne, you guys are incredible. Thanks for your podcast. Good luck to all JSFL players. It's always great to hear everyone's take on the game. All right. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Good job on your feedback. Enjoyed that. I'll give you, there's an extra video with Mike, and he might win you back, Mike.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike
Oh,
White.
Mike White.
As opposed to our Mike here.
Our Mikes.
Yeah, Mike's. Yeah. And he's talking about how, well, the first part of it'll make you think you're right, because he was isolating himself. He was trying to sleep down on the beach by himself, but the rain came pouring down, and he went up into the shelter, and he just talks about how everyone was complaining, but he could only think, look, I'm on Survivor. It isn't that bad. I'm on, and it's another one of those.
Suck it up. This is the experience.
Yeah, where he's a fan, and he was so enjoying his experience that even the downpours from the neighboring cyclone couldn't dishearten him.
That I like. I like that a lot.
So bonus points from Mike White there on that extra video. It's not something they're sharing in the episode, right?
True.
But there we are. Okay, good job. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana, and that was awesome. We got our first blind side of the season. Woo! I didn't have anything against Jessica necessarily, but that was awesome. And I didn't really care if Lyrsa stayed or went, but that was just so awesome. Do feel kind of bad for Carl, though, because I like Carl. But yeah, so I'm really starting to warm up to this cast. Obviously, I love Christian and Gabby, and I'm really starting to like Davey. When he found that idol, that was awesome, and he got so excited, and like Carl, and I'm starting to like Nick. And then on the Goliath tribe, I'm really starting to like Jeremy, although next time it looks like he might go a little crazy. I like Mike. He hasn't really done anything, but he's not in the bottom anymore. John hasn't done much, but I still like him. And Natalia, Angelina, whichever one. Kara. Yeah, those three are pretty cool. I like Natalia the best out of those three. Still rooting against Dan, even though I hope he makes it to the merge so I could just switch over. And then Alec, I thought he'd be annoying, but he really hasn't done anything. What I've seen of him, he's been fine. Natalie, you just keep digging your hole deeper and deeper, and Jeremy tried to help you, but you're too stubborn. And then John tried to get something to go with her and just blew up in her face. Wow, she really has terrible social awareness. And then Allison is pretty much just a non-playable character on the Goliath tribe right now. Okay, that challenge, wow. B blew that challenge for the Davids. How did they not figure out that puzzle? Come on, Christian, what the heck? Well, I guess it's not a slide puzzle, but still, you guys should have been able to figure that out. Come on, Davids. Can't keep losing. When Elizabeth was talking to Lyrsa about how they're targeting her as the weakest link, and Lyrsa's like, what? I'm not the weakest. You saw me, win that challenge day one. Lyrsa, you didn't win that challenge. You climbed the pole. Christian solved the puzzle in 8 seconds. So you don't get to say anything. You barely contributed. I mean, you did good untying the box. So congratulations. I'm so excited. Sorry, Jessica, but that was awesome. First tribal council, first blind side, and that tribal council set is massive. It's huge, like Jiminy Christmas. Man, I'm hyped. So next time on Survivor, Carl's getting sad. The Nerd Alliance is solid. Jeremy looks like he might be losing it, and Natalie is still not looking too good. So we shall see what happens, and it doesn't look like there's gonna be a tribe swap. So good luck, Davids. Oh, that's all I got. I will see you guys next time.
Excellent. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Nicola.
Hi everyone, this is Nicola from Kentucky. I am calling in. It's pretty late Friday here. I've had a long day. I drove to Illinois and back to pick up my granddaughter and bring her here for a few days over her school break so she could spend some time with us. So that'll be a nice weekend we're looking forward to. And I don't have Jackson this week. He hasn't actually watched the episode yet. He was supposed to watch it today while I was gone, but his mother drug him all around town, and he didn't get a chance to watch, so I will no doubt have him next week. Really, it was a great episode. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Really enjoying the season so far. Eliza came over and watched with me, and we had a really good time.
All right.
It was a lot of fun having somebody here to talk to and cheer on our favorites and everything else like that. We were both high-fiving at the end there because I had Jessica safe, but I wasn't too worried about losing a point that she went, but neither of us really wanted Larissa to go. So the outcome was fun for that. See, highlights of the episode, Kristen and Gabby's conversation on the beach. I don't know what he was thinking. Did he think they were going to build sandcastles or something? Who knows? Hot Cop still tends to be a little naive cop, maybe. Can't believe that he left his idol in his pocket just for somebody to root around and look for it. I did want to say I took my trash cans out on Thursday evening and I got stuck in a downpour, and it's only probably like 200 feet to the end of my driveway. And by the time I came back in, I was soaked and it wasn't comfortable. And I didn't like it. I can't imagine how they feel being out there in all this rain. I'm from England, so I quite like the rain. It doesn't usually bother me as long as I have the correct gear on to keep me dry underneath. So, and of course, not being out in it for prolonged days and days and days at a time. That's about it from me. I look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say. Another great episode. Looks like it's going to be a good season. Thanks for everything that you do, Joanne and Stacy, and we will chat soon. Cheers.
All right. I like that extra story. Thanks for throwing that in, Nicola. Next up, we got an email from Nathan in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Was it just me, or did this episode seem like it was just an extension of the first episode, meaning that the themes the edits portrayed did not change? There is still a focus on Dan and the showmance, which I still do not understand. I suppose a pretty lady or two can cause a guy to forget he is playing a game for $1 million. It just amazes me that he so quickly decided he'd take a showmance over actually playing the game. Speaking of being amazed, I'm shocked at Natalie. It's almost as if she doesn't even want to play. Has she ever watched Survivor before? I stumbled across one article about this episode of Survivor that called Natalie the least cognizant in Survivor history, and I will not argue that point. It's somewhat of a shame, though, because she could have made a good villain for this season. I have to admit that I am enjoying watching Christian, or perhaps I should say that I'm enjoying listening to Christian. He adds a fun element to the show, but I don't think he will end up going to the end. He's going to get too paranoid at some point, and it will come back to bite him. I think providing the firebox and the tarp to the tribes was a good move. Sure, part of Survivor is surviving the elements, but none of us tune in to watch a bunch of people huddle under a makeshift shelter, slowly freezing and starving to death. What makes the show so enjoyable. I was glad to see Jessica go instead of Lyrsa. Jessica seemed a little too cocky and pompous, although it seems that Elizabeth did more to save Lyrsa than Lyrsa did to save Lyrsa. Mm-hmm. Overall, it was a good episode, and I still think this season could be a good one. I'm still not sure, though, who I think will go far and what characters we will remember from this season. Well, perhaps with the exception of Christian.
Yeah, I think
Talk
you're right.
to you next week. All right. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah, it definitely did seem like an extension. They're building on these themes. They didn't abandon them or anything like that. Good deal. Next up, got a call from Eliza. We get her side of the story.
Hey there, Survivor fans. Okay, does Kara Kay have her eyebrows tattooed? They look so perfect. It looks like she has makeup on, so I'm wondering, or if it's like one of those sewing things. I don't know what that's called. Jeremy and Mike are fun together. Yeah. I really like how Jeremy fixed his bossiness and called himself out, making Mike laugh. I know the editors are making Natalie out to be a bad guy, but she is probably tired and hungry and has a general attitude of being in charge normally. All of those together don't always work great. She suggested they needed to make the shelter better, and Dan said they'd be fine if the weather stayed the way it was. Of course, it's not going to, and Natalie knows that. She just didn't respond well in return. She looked at him and walked away. I was like, oh, girl, you can't do that. I just wrote idle leather. I thought that was a funny sentence when Davey found the idol,
yep,
I think.
yeah.
Oh, so I meant to mention this last week, but I hadn't written any notes, and so I was kind of going, and I was driving, and I wasn't thinking straight. I don't like Angelina. I do like Davey. I have a crush on John and Nick, And I got to chat with Nick on Facebook Messenger last week, so that was really fun. He has had a girlfriend for 3.5 years, so don't think that I'm getting anything misconstrued, but it was super, super fun. I figure people will hate the fire kits and tarps, but they are still miserable, and we want an interesting season, so this helps them be more comfortable enough to be interesting, is what I thought. Lyris's line when she's like, "Who the bleep won the first challenge?" That was really funny. I like that she's really self-confident, even though it seems like she's been pushed down a lot in her life. Like, I love that she still has the confidence. I wish I strive to be like that. I really liked B's motivational speech. Christian and Gabby are so cute together. He looked so into her during their conversation on the beach. He wasn't even thinking about the game. He was just focused on her. Like, oh yeah, I want to play with you in the sand. Like, I watched that 3 times and I just was like, oh, sweet baby angel. Okay, so then Christian, there's rarely exhilaration without risk. Oh, I just wrote that down for myself. I really liked that quote. And then at the end, so I got to watch this episode with Nicola, and for the first time, like, we watched it together. It was so much more fun, like, being part of JSFL and watching it with Nicola and her daughter was so much fun. And I had puppies and snacks and wine, and it was just a really good time. Mm-hmm. And, like, we had both voted for Natalie to be voted off. So when Goliath won, we were like, oh no. So then we were still trying to stay in it, and we were like, okay, well, who's going to get voted off? And neither her nor I wanted Lyrsa to get voted off. But we just kind of thought it was going to be that way. And then when the votes came in, we thought it was going to be that way. And then they did, like, the little switch at the end, and we were like, oh my gosh! It was really fun. So thanks for bringing us together. And I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. This is really fun, and I'm super happy I'm in Kentucky. And now I'm signing off. Bye. Oh, this is Eliza from Kentucky. Bye.
You remembered right at the very end. You had a really good time in Nicholas, huh? Good job. Next up, we got a call from Drew and his crew.
Hey everyone, this is Drew and
Charlie and Kitty, Adelaide, and my little kitty.
Charlie and Kitty and Adelaide and her new little kitty, which was a prize for chart. The new addition to the stuffed animal family. First things first, last week I completely spaced it. We were out of town and I was going to just call in, and I remembered late Saturday night, so I just didn't get around to it. And all I really would have said was, I actually really like this cast so far, and in the first challenge it was my USB and my first out pick facing off against each other, so of course that was just perfect. But I enjoyed everyone else's feedback, and this week was good too. I still like this cast. Their characters and personalities are starting to show a little more, and I just think Christian is, like, so weird. I mean, everyone's known people like this, just, I don't know, but I also get this really weird Mark Hamill vibe from him. Like, I'm getting this really dorky Luke Skywalker, just kind of a bit redundant, am I right? Anyway, it was good. Of course, Natalie is just, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. My take on the booger check is she was asking if there's anything in her nose and if there's anything in her mouth, and they were not related. And Natalie put the two together because she's brilliant. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that, okay? Yeah, I'm 2 for 2 on double whammies with JSFL, so that's just awesome. I keep picking people safe to go, so I apparently am on a roll. We'll see what happens next time and if I keep that roll going. But yeah, generally I still like a lot of these people, and we'll see what happens as they come along. But there was some weird stuff, like Gabby was in a weird little sadness hole, and who knows what Dan is thinking. I don't know. My thoughts are all over the place right now, so I'm just going to leave it at that and look forward to everyone else's feedback. But the one other thing that I did want to say is whatever her name is, is it Jessica? I can't even remember. She was voted out. Guess what? If you're the first out, it doesn't necessarily mean you're voted out because you were a threat, all right? I mean, can we be real? All right. Well, Adelaide is here, so I'm going to have her look at the roster because she wasn't here when we did the Jabbix. So I'm going to see who she's liking to win. But yeah, Jessica. It is Jessica. Wah, wah. Okay, Adelaide, who do you like best of just these orange ones?
I know.
Who do you like best, Charlie?
Because he has a helicopter.
Oh, you like him because he has a helicopter. Well, sorry, Pat. Okay, babe, who do you like best?
Yeah.
Oh, B. Okay, she's good. Who do you like best on the purple ones?
Yeah.
Kara. Okay. Oh, Charlie likes Dan. Hot Cop Dan. He's not the only one, but We'll see. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up today. Have a busy weekend. We've been getting a lot of rain, huh? Been getting lots of rain?
Yeah.
Do you like the rain? You don't?
No,
You-
I do.
I do too. I like the rainstorms at night, huh? And it's been so dry this summer, so it's pretty nice. Of course, it's not a cyclone, but maybe it's not over in Survivorland either. Who knows? We all know how Jeff likes to use superlatives, so... All right, really quick, the winner of the week, I think I'm Elizabeth. She's savvier than I expected. Loser of the week, Natalie, of course. Just, yeah, there has to be some comeuppance coming pretty soon, but I think it's going to be a while. So talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend, and looking forward to next Wednesday. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Ooh, unison.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Adelaide. Thanks, Charlie and Kitty and little Kitty. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Mrs. C in Louisiana.
This was a great week. It looked rough on the tribes, though. I'm sure I'd be hollering uncle before that storm was over. Christian's mannerisms remind me of Kramer on Seinfeld, and certainly we now know Gabby is no Aubrey. She seems to be playing with her heart and not her mind. But then again, what do I know? I picked Dan as my USB.
There we go. Get some
Join the
perspective
crowd.
on it.
I agree with Joanne. What we could see of Dan before the season looked good. I now realize, especially after the second week and watching the video clips, he's just a horn dog. Pardon the expression. I watch the after episode video clips, and John ain't looking so good either. All I can hear is, Adrian! Yo, Adrian! Too bad. So sad, Stacy. He's going down. Knocked out by a fluff ball called Dan. Yes, I'm standing by my man. At least until I can pick a new one.
Oh, nice.
I don't think the David tribe will pull together to win a challenge yet, so I'm going with Lyrsa as the next one out. In the preseason, I was liking Nick, but his edit is not making him look very good. I would like to punch Natalie for her arrogance. We would be in a cat fight before they call action. I like Allison and Alec, but think that Mike should be the second one on that tribe to go home. I'm enjoying this season a lot and really enjoy hearing what the fans have to say. I love the listener feedback and all you do. Thanks so much. All right, and thank you, Mrs. C. Next up, we have a voice clip from Kim-n-Cameron back together again.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Kim-n-Cameron from North Carolina, back together again, the dynamic duo, because Cameron's on fall break. And you will see, as you probably realized last week, that Cameron is the brains of this operation.
Well, kinda. I mean, so to start out, Stacy, I apologize about Nick. You know, I was wrong. I don't know why I was not paying attention when people were talking about him. I guess he wasn't doing much. But hey, also, don't knock Big Brother till you watch it. I think Joanne can agree with me on that. And that's all I'll talk about Big Brother for the whole season.
So I picked Natalie to go home, and at the beginning of the episode, it seemed like she was going home. So I knew she wasn't going home.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Natalie. I don't think her napalm's going to work, quite frankly. One thing I want to talk about was Jeremy. What the heck was going on with him? Going through someone's bag on the second episode, I thought back to Survivor Fiji. You remember Mookie and Alex and how they went home like right after they did that with Yao Man?
Man, you have such a good memory. I was thinking the challenge scenery was really gorgeous, and why wasn't Christian doing the puzzle?
I didn't even realize. I didn't pay too much attention to the challenge itself. I thought the Goliaths were just wrecking it, so I just gave up. Kara. Anyone else remember Chrissy from just 2 seasons ago? I don't know why, but Kara just reminds me of her. She looks like her. She sounds like her. She talks as much as her. I don't know if this will help or hurt her in the game. If it's anything like Chrissy, it'll hurt her ultimately, but also if she can play Dan, maybe that'll advance her own game. And in general, I don't know if there's anyone there I think I genuinely like besides Nick. Davey and Christian are sort of softening up to me, but, you know, there aren't really any Goliaths that I really like. I guess John the wrestler, he's sort of improving, but I don't know. I guess I'm waiting for someone to wow me in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I missed the part where Jessica's name came up to be voted out. I was grading papers because I had 93 of them. I'm sure your recap will educate me when I listen to it, but I'm a little worried about which tribe is that? Davids. They're the Davids, right?
The ones that keep losing.
Yeah. I'm worried about the Davids, so I hope they can get it together. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I don't really have anything else. Just, aside from JSFL, I did terrible this week. I thought Jessica was safe. I just chose her as safe because I thought it was just random for her to go home. I said Nick would be voted out and Jessica would be safe. So, yeah, I lost 2 points this week.
Oh, well. All right. Bye, everybody.
Yep, see you guys.
All right, so great to hear you back together. That was fun.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, you definitely want to go back and watch that portion of the episode that after the challenge, Kim, where you get to see Elizabeth pull together the takedown of Jessica. She roped her and tied her.
I think Christian did participate in the puzzle.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. They switched off, though.
Yep.
So if she's grading paper, she might not have seen. I know sometimes when we take notes, we look down.
We miss things when they happen real quick. But Christian was definitely working on the puzzle at one point. They were Gabby and B and Jessica in their extra videos. They were all sort of giving their take on why they did so poorly. But and they had 3. While they did show, who was it? They showed Angelina swap out with Cara on the puzzle for the Goliaths. Evidently, the Davids had 3 or 4 people swap out over the course of that hour when they were working on it. So,
well, my thought was, why didn't they have someone good with the overall puzzle to be putting it together back before they were placing the pieces?
I think I know the answer to that. They were so far behind just getting up there to work on it that the pressure was just overwhelming.
Too much, yeah.
And to try to stop and assemble would, even though it's the right call, like that's what the Goliaths did from what we could tell, right, from watching, that they pre-solved it and got everything ordered properly to take the pieces out.
Well, my thought was...
The Davids just didn't, they weren't going to come back on that
even
one.
If they could only have one of the 5, don't do one of the ends, the pieces, work on the others first, while that person was back putting the other puzzle pieces together for them to come and get, bottom to top, and putting that together in the interim to make it a little easier for the ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a thought.
They got into a failing mindset, I think, after, shortly into when the challenge began. And they had mentally lost it before they even started working on the puzzle. So for them to pull it back around just seemed overwhelming to them.
Well, and probably they had so much adrenaline pumping through their veins from being behind so long and not being able to paddle very well.
So we get treated to an argument, with Lyrsa arguing with, I forget who it was. Was it Carl?
Trying to tell her
Davey?
Where to put the pieces.
Yeah, that she was just making a straight up mistake with the wrong pieces out there. She wasn't thinking clearly, and that the heat seemed to be very overwhelming for the David tribe.
Well, my thought was the main thing was their strategizing, and that they weren't working well together. Their communication was off. They just weren't working well together. I think they could if they would kind of pull that together for the communication, or put one person in charge of saying, hey, listen to me during the challenges and I'll call these shots. Or something. Something needs to happen.
Christian says that he is the one suited to that frenetic type of situation. So maybe we'll see him step up. Thanks, Kim-n-Cameron. Good job. Great to hear you together again. Next up, we got a call from Sophie.
Hi, Survivor fans. This is Sophie in Texas. Just wanted to say fantastic job on Just the Two of Us song at the end of last week. That was really good to hear. So well done. I have a question. What happens to all the contestants' glasses when they're doing challenges? Are they allowed to wear contact lenses, or are they just going out there blind? I thought that the silliest moment was Dan convincing Cara that he had hidden it in a good place and it was in his jacket pocket in his sock. It was good to see Jeremy playing with Mike, and I think those two could go far, especially as next week it seems like Jeremy is confiding in John about Dan's idol. So maybe the boys will get together. It looks like Jeremy is complaining about maybe Natalie. I think Natalie had been saying, Jeremy did lose the spear. I think that's what he was saying. So maybe Jeremy goes
spear
fishing, loses the spear, and Natalie is trying to get Jeremy voted off because of it. It looks like Carl needs to pull himself together as he's taking Jessica's elimination quite hard. He saw her as a daughter, so now maybe he just loses his drive. I'm wondering if next week he even asks his team to vote him off. I can't imagine them getting rid of B because she has a lot of energy. Did anybody else notice her neck? It looks like she's got like a bad infection from a bite or a cut, so hopefully that doesn't get too bad. I don't know, I didn't like seeing Gabby without glasses. I thought she looked really weird, quite needy this week. So I wonder how long Christian's going to put up with that. I like to see Christian and Nick working together. Also, CBS did release lots of videos last week before the episode aired, and the one of Jessica, getting to know Jessica, was over 7 minutes long, and it was the longest out of all the contestants. So I was thinking, I wonder if Elizabeth is going to end up saving Lisa because she's so loyal and trying to get Jessica out. But I didn't go with that thought. I have to keep reminding myself that there's just one challenge, not two. I was thinking that there was 2 challenges, a reward and then another challenge for tribal council, but no. Before the merge, there's just one challenge. So until the merge, I don't know if David is ever going to win anything. They seem pretty weak and down in the dumps. I just want to quickly say that the funniest moment was when Christian thought that Gabby wanted to play in the sand with him. We rewound that like 6 times. We were dying. We were just, oh my goodness, hilarious. Yeah, I love Christian. That's about it. I really did like this episode. For number 2, it was really good. Jeremy and Davey did fantastic. And just enjoying it like the rest of you. So thank you for everything you do. Thanks for the time you take. And have a fantastic weekend. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Good job. Thanks, Sophie. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, I'm a bit grumpy this week. I get so tired of hearing the same baloney every season about keeping the tribe strong, when what they mean is keep it young and male. Lyrsa didn't cost them immunity, bad team strategy did. B was too short for the latter portion, and the chosen paddlers couldn't, giving the Goliaths tons of time to study the puzzle and seal the deal. I'm glad the Davids didn't take the easy way out at tribal. This week's observations. I'm not a fan of the Mason-Dixon alliance. Maybe it's because I'm from Massachusetts. How nice it was of Trader Jeff. I like that, Trader Jeff instead of Trader Joe. Trader Jeff to loan the tribe some literal housewarming gifts. Strategy-wise, Hot Cop Dan is more like a Keystone Cop. You should start calling him Detective Dan because he's so good at it. I can't wait for Goliath's Black Widow trio to get blindsided. Angelina says that she has John wrapped around her finger. I hope John's wife, wrestling champ Taya Valkyrie, a.k.a. the Crazy Blonde, doesn't take offense. When Jeremy mothered Mike, he forgot to say, don't poke your eye out. Lawyer Jeremy goes through others' pockets. Does he chase his ambulances too? I'm hoping Mike finds the nullifier. Oh, yeah, that'd be interesting, huh? And uses his knowledge to nullify Dumbo Dan's idol. Davey found some nice fishing bait. Too bad the fishing pole's on the other beach. I'm not a fan of Natalie's AARP threat assessment defense. Hasn't she heard that old age and treachery will overcome youth and skill? I love that hidden immunity idols look like fake ones. Yeah, they really do. We didn't comment on that, but that's a good point. Natalie would make a great shmoo. She's doing everything she can to throw herself into the frying pan. Natalie is this season's winner of the Wild Moose Eyes Award.
Uh-oh. I think you tripped Stacy's switch.
Yeah, that's up there with the Stoner Klingon. That's good. Wild Moose Eyes. That's such a great description of her expression. And she's got that kind of big front-forward moose danger view to her, too. Oh, that is good. I think John's pigtails were him workshopping a new wrestling persona. Pippi Peck stocking. Jessica was glue. Maybe that's why she came across as stuck up. Oh, man, you're on a roll. Once again, a smug tribal quip earned a quick visit from the Karma Fairy. Gabby and Christian were nerd cute on their Sandy play date. Christian has a distinctive public speaking style. I can envision him holding court in a college lecture hall or explaining his dastardly plan to Mr. Bond. Bond villain, Christian. Yeah, that works. Next time, Carl breaks down. The nerds have it, and Jeremy loses a spear. Well, there's a second spear reference. So Sophie and Josh got it dialed in there on a spear. Will the episode be good or idiotic? I think he put that in for you. Okay. Tune in Wednesday. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanna Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thanks, Josh. Crack me up, buddy. Next up, we got a call from KimJ.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is KimJ from Nashville. Didn't get a chance to get feedback in last week, so I had a quick question about last week's episode. Well, pertaining to last week's episode anyway. A lot of the former contestants are pretty taboo on the boat rides back to camp, but I did hear one person say that they're potentially blindfolded, and that obviously would not only be scary, but really dangerous if you couldn't see to brace yourself in that kind of weather. So have you guys heard that before? Just curious. No. So on to this week's episode. I like the Goliath tribe a little bit more this week. I'm always going to be excited at the potential for an all-girls alliance, and that Kara doesn't seem to be quite as dumb as Dan appears to be. Sorry, Joanne. I mean,
Sorry, Joanne.
Putting the idol in a sock in your jacket, nobody's going to find it in there. Yeah, because nobody's going to think it's weird that you have a sock in your jacket. Come on, guy. Really? I don't know. I don't know. I just can't. Still loving John Hennigan. The Jeremy stock went up big time this week. He was hilarious. Loved him and Mike together. His conversation with Natalie, I have no words. I just have no words. She was on Reddit this week and saying that basically she wasn't getting edited right, or at least implying that she didn't like her edit, or that it wasn't accurate. But I just remember what Tina Wesson said after the Blood versus Water season, and that was, the editors can only use what you give them. Just saying. All right, so on to my David tribe. My enthusiasm for Gabby went down a little bit this week. She seemed awful whiny, and boy, it's really early to be that paranoid. So I'm going, okay, is she going to bounce back like Aubrey, or is she going to descend into further paranoia like Hannah?
I love that.
I don't know at this point. I'm hoping it's more like Aubrey and less like Hannah, but we'll see. I'm a little bit worried. I enjoyed the episode thoroughly. Didn't see the Jessica boot coming, and I feel like she's kind of fodder anyway. The season won't miss anything with her being gone. No, no offense. But I just really like to see, maybe a little bit older contestants. I've never been excited about the 19-year-olds that they've cast. But anyway, moving on next week. Right now, I'm leaning towards B. I really want to see the Goliath tribe go to Tribal because I think they're going to be hilarious and entertaining at Tribal, but I just can't see the Davids pulling out a win. They just look completely inept right now. So that's what I'm thinking. Can't wait to hear what everybody else says.
All right. Thanks, KimJ. I saw that post on Reddit, too, that Natalie, or someone at least purporting to be her, was responding to different comments on, and she started off by saying, well, I can see why people feel the need to violate their NDA now. I think that was like her opener, the non-disclosure agreement about commenting on the season. So that's how she started the discussion, which is, I can see why people would violate their contract now, because she was feeling hurt, I guess, by her edit. But that's an interesting way to open it, because it's all, whether or not she intended it, it's an Alec reference because he violated his NDA in commenting on the season and sharing something before the season began.
Before it started.
Yeah, and it's just, it's a big no-no, and it's a disrespectful thing, obviously, to do for the show. But she was feeling disrespected by the edit, so she's going to respond in kind with understanding, at least. She didn't outright threaten to violate her NDA, but even dancing around that seems like a bad idea.
Well, I don't know that that's what she was doing.
Back and forth with the her comments there in the subreddit.
We've been told, like many, many times, that that players gave them way more material I know Malcolm told us that. Leslie Neese.
You're talking about for the edit.
For the edit.
Yeah.
And said that,
I was talking about her post on Reddit that KimJ was talking about.
I know, but what I'm saying in her defense is that what I said earlier about they chose her characters, so they're only going to show. There may be plenty of other footage, but they do get to choose. You sign all that away. And Leslie Neese said, I swear I didn't just talk about religion
all the time.
but it's the only thing they ever showed. Yes, I said those things, but I didn't say, we were there 24/7. She said, I didn't talk about it all the time, I swear. And but they made it look like she did. That's all she ever said, because that's all they showed.
Right.
So, yes, I understand that can happen with the edit, but you sign all your rights away. They can do whatever they want to tell the story they have to tell.
If that was indeed her, what it tells you, she's feeling pretty upset by her edit. If
and how she's being perceived.
Showed up in a subreddit on Survivor commenting about it and then trading back and forth responses with people, with fans there. That's telling on its own. So my immediate response to KimJ's question about being blindfolded, my immediate response or feeling was, no, I don't think they do that. They can't talk to each other. That's the primary thing. But then it seems like there has been maybe a season or two where they did blindfold them because of they may had to drive through public areas, or there was something they didn't want them to see when they were transporting them. So maybe that has happened in the past. I don't think it's the standard, though.
I don't remember anybody ever, especially being transported just from island to island, but it's a possibility, but no one's ever told us.
Sometimes they're in vehicles that they're being transported. Yeah. So, and they don't want them, like they have to come near civilization or something like that. You remember Colby telling us for Heroes versus Villains that they were really near a resort, actually, and they were super confined with where they could go. So they may have had to do that in those kind of situations, but the primary thing is they tell them that they can't discuss the game at all while they're being transported like that. So yeah, could you imagine how terrifying that would have been for Pat and Carl, who both got hurt? Obviously Pat much worse, but to have been blindfolded on top of that, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I can't imagine they did that.
I can't imagine keeping the blindfold on if you're getting tossed around in a boat. I'd be, no, sorry, not going to happen.
Oh, sorry, it fell off.
Yeah, exactly. This thing won't stay tied. All right, good deal. Thanks, KimJ. Enjoyed that. Next up, we got a call from Brandon.
What up, Survivor fans and Joanne and Stacy? It's Brandon from Cleveland. Another outstanding episode of Survivor. And I have to say, I like the Goliath tribe way more than I like the David tribe. The David tribe, they're fun, they're interesting enough, but the characters on that Goliath tribe are definitely who interest me way more. So I'm okay with the Davids continuing to lose. I guess I would like some balance and Davids to win some, just because I don't want it to be a setup for a pagonging, but I'm really loving the Goliath tribe. But all I gotta say for my boy Mundo, run, get away from Miss Natalie, okay? That's like some Mil Muertes Matanza stuff. Yes, professional wrestling references, I know. But anyway, yeah, run, get out of there. I don't want him to have anything to do with her. And I really like Jeremy this week. Actually, I say run from Natalie, but I actually like Natalie as somebody watching a television show, but I definitely wouldn't want to be on the island with her. Oh, yeah, and as far as the David tribe, you know what? Gabby was getting on my nerves too, Stacy. I wasn't really feeling everything as far as she went, but I was okay with Christian and Nick making his move. I think it was the better move for them, but I do like Davey, Carl, and B, so I kind of want things to get shaken up a little because I like those three and I want to see them do well. So it'd be nice if somebody got Gabby out because she's probably one of the people I like the least on that tribe right now, but we'll see. She could change my mind. I don't hate her or anything. And as far as Jessica leaving, how I feel about that is the same answer to the question as the difference between ignorance and apathy. I don't know and I don't care. So that's my thoughts on this week, and I can't wait till next week. So look forward to hearing everybody else's feedback. Talk to y'all next week. Peace.
All right. Thanks, Brandon. You know what? I'll give you a little piece on John, and this goes back to those extra videos. This got me a little concerned about our boy John there. He's talking about how he's used to putting down 6,000 calories a day, and he's having a really tough time on 400 or so that he may be getting there from the rice and the coconuts. And I'm wondering if that's taken a toll, because he was commenting on how much it's affected his energy, which is one of his main elements that he employs. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. All right, good job. Next up, we got Brandon from Brooklyn. Wow, Survivor fans, what a great episode. I was stunned that the Survivor producers gave both tribes a fire-making kit and a tarp. So here's the thing, Brandon. Not only is it a fire-making kit, which we thought, oh, it's dry wood, it's tinder, it's a fire starter. It turned out there was kerosene in there, too, that Christian commented on in their extra video. It's interesting that Alec, who talked about it for the Goliath tribe, didn't mention the kerosene, but Christian mentioned that there was kerosene and that it was quite easy to get a fire going with the kerosene.
Oh, I was thinking it was gasoline, but I guess it was kerosene.
Yeah, kerosene. Yeah. Okay, all right, back to Brandon. I don't mind that because you don't want anyone threatening to quit or get sick. Plus, you have to give the survivors a little bit of hope and a belief that things will get better. When the rain stopped, the game really turned up. The Goliath tribe is really interesting. I'm curious to see them at Tribal Council. They could be pulled in different directions. Cara, Angelina, and Natalia could be the trio of ladies that could dominate the game, especially if they can keep control of their individual guy. However, I just think they stand out, and one of them will be targeted. Cara is stuck with Dan, and he is dumb as rocks. Why would he hide his idol in his jacket and just leave his jacket alone? I liked how Jeremy took initiative and searched Dan's jacket with the idol nullifier. This will be a huge advantage, knowing who has an idol. You're right, absolutely. It's an excellent point that we didn't bring up. I also am not liking Natalie. She is too stubborn and annoying in the game. She comes off as if she is annoyed. I wish her luck in the game because I don't know who will try to save her if Goliath goes to Tribal Council. The David tribe is interesting. I didn't like Carl opening his mouth and nominating Lyrsa for the vote out. I like Davey finding the idol. I hope he doesn't tell anyone about it. I knew Gabby and Christian would start to take control of this game. However, I never expected the Mason-Dixon alliance to form. I wonder who Christian will be more loyal to in the future, Gabby or Nick. I think that is the pivotal question right there, too. Brandon really hit it. Jessica was just voted out because the vote was too easy to target Lyrsa. I think Survivor players get bored with just being told to target one person when anyone will be eligible to be voted off. See you next week. All right, thanks, Brandon. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, I missed last week's deadline, so let me just bring you up to speed about what's going on at our house. We picked Nick as a USB. I don't know that I would have picked him if I would have seen a little bit more in terms of like his bio and like pre-game interviews. He had a little bit of a shaky start, but I think he's recovered well for the time being, and it's early in the game, so I think we're still going to root for him. But I think if I'd really seen a lot of detail on everybody, I just might have chosen Christian. I just find him a hoot. I am impressed with Davey's game in these early days. You know, we didn't see too much of him to my memory. I thought he was going to be a little bit purple, but he found an idol. He didn't tell anybody about it. And to me, that is just strong strategy. I think that human nature is such that when we have something as exciting as a hidden immunity idol, it is really, really hard to keep it to ourselves. So the fact that Davey is showing that restraint, I think, is awesome. I really hope he does something big with it. That is, if he keeps it a secret. The game is still young. Dan is just a wreck of teenage hormones. He's just all after the pretty girls. He's just so excited about that. I'm going a little bit disjointedly here, but let's round off my thoughts on the David competitors. I think Gabby's a little bit paranoid, but I think she did a good job of keeping it under control, just enough to find herself on the right side of the numbers. I'm real impressed with Elizabeth. I think her gameplay this week is something that, honestly, I don't think I expected that level of play from her, so I'm impressed with her. And we're going to have to see how Carl and B recover from this blind side. I'm not so worried about Davey because he has an idol. He's in a little bit better of a position. So that's David. Now on to Goliath. My thoughts on them this episode. I forgot Alec was a player. Every time he came on the screen, I had to think to myself, who is he again? So I'm going to have to kind of try to have him stick in my memory. Natalie is just a power to behold. I don't know what else to say than that about her. I mean, I understand that she's older and therefore less physically capable than others, but what they're showing of her is, I mean, she's just so abrasive. I wonder if she's that way 24/7 or if there's just showing like Natalie highlights, you know? Her interaction with Jeremy was just jaw-dropping, and I got a kick out of the fact that, you know, he tried so hard and in the end he was just like, you know, she's been married so many years. There is somebody who loves her for who she is. She's not changing. I giggled at that. And, you know, perhaps he's right. But she definitely has a target on her back. But honestly, because Goliath has been winning and not going to tribal council, I don't quite know what to make of alliances there. But that's it for me. I loved the tribal council set. My boys and I really oohed and awed at it when it was first revealed. And I really feel like this was the end of the first episode. Like we've got a really long first episode since we didn't have a vote out due to Pat's medevac. But all in all, a solid first 2 episodes. I'm enjoying it. Can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Till next week. Bye.
Yeah, I think that characterization fits perfect, that this was really the end of the first episode. They could have put those together and it would have been just fine, huh? And given us another one. Oh, I kept cracking up. She was talking about Natalie, and I looked up, and I thought crazy moose eyes, and I was going to laugh all through Jen's thing. Oh, good deal. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and wow, Natalie just gets worse and worse. She's like Abby Maria, but without the charming personality, or whether she wants to admit it or not, without the social awareness. And yes, that is a joke. The thing is, I'm worried that she is going to get far, largely because I don't think her tribe will lose, and as long as she isn't outnumbered after a mix-up, then the Davids, who are definitely in trouble, will be picked off one by one before Natalie goes anywhere. So there's nothing else I can do but put a curse on her by predicting that the Davids will lose again, thus saving Natalie from a tribal. And then to really sweeten the pot, I'm picking Natalie as safe this week. That ought to help tip the odds against her because I'm playing JSFL with a meager total of 6 points so far. Okay, the first words that come to mind when I think of Jessica are bless her heart. You have to admire her self-worth though, because as the first player voted out, she truly believes it's because everyone, even the other tribe I'm sure she thinks, saw her as the biggest threat in the game. Me, I saw her as a crier who, upon having been ousted, won't have to live out a sad breakdown and possibly a quit on national TV. So there are a few things I want to focus on here, so let's start with Jeremy. I think he really blundered with his one-on-one with Natalie. Although his tone with her was nice, his words weren't, and all Natalie heard were his words. He needed to schmaltz her big time by dishing out compliments, and then, after winning a smidgen, and I do mean smidgen, of trust from her, he could have possibly nicely explained that, like Michael, she needs to be aware that people are noticing her, and some of them aren't noticing her in a good way. In my eyes, Jeremy blundered, even though the entire confrontation was a Kobayashi Maru. And then there's Lyrsa, who I don't think is nearly as weak as everyone here and on her tribe believes. I mean, she did have a hand in the first challenge of the season, and although she may not have won it, she certainly and surely didn't blow it either. She's selling it to her tribe as a win, and I can't blame her because she's defending herself to these people. And Gabby, I'm twisted and torn about her, but I think I'm seeing a coattail rider surfacing. That scene on the beach with her and Christian was very interesting. It started off so cute and lovey-dovey and ended with her asking Christian to protect her. That's some great manipulation skills, but it's just not enough. Which brings me to Christian, who is the most memorable player of the season so far, but not necessarily in a good way. He's getting so much focus, I'm thinking that he goes mid-season. He's fun to watch because of his unawareness, but I think the Goliaths will find him to be very annoying, so when the merge occurs, he'll be one of the first to go. But the second most oblivious player after Natalie has got to be Dan. But don't fret yet, because there's still a chance he could outpace Natalie in the episodes to come. I think that B is in trouble this week, and it's sad because I like her. She's just on the wrong side of the numbers and on the losing tribe. If David wins immunity, I'll be thrilled because it'll add some balance to the game, but I really think that B is next to go. So it's been a fun one so far, and I don't think that'll be changing anytime soon. Enjoy the next episode, everyone. Bye now.
I like your willingness to take a hit for the SFP tribe, Paul, there, and having Natalie safe. So I think you're onto something. Might right some wrongs.
I don't know, but what she might be safe the way Dan's playing. I could see them just get rid of him, to get rid of the idol and
to get rid of the showmance.
That that's two birds with one stone. and the reality is I don't care.
Yep. Dan's lost some fans.
I expected more.
I think Taz cracked me up the most on that one. Although I liked all the sorry Joannes in this week's feedback. That was really good.
I just hung my head and
realizing that Taz had picked Figgy before in the Millennials
that makes
Gen
me feel
X
better there, Taz.
season.
I love you, darling.
And he's essentially picked Taylor this season, so now you've had to go with both of them, Taz. Oh, good deal. Man, you guys did great with listener feedback this week. Fantastic. We want to say a big thank you to everyone who pulled their thoughts together and took their time to send that in. We know that takes effort, but boy, was it enjoying. We just had a fantastic time with the show this week. Thank you so much for that.
And for those of you that have asked about the donation button that's not on the website right now, Stacy is working on that.
Figured out. So with the show notes for this episode, there should be a link to get that going again. Down at the bottom, down in the links section, you'll see a button for donations, and it talks about all the different types of ways, just not monetarily, but the different ways that you can contribute to the show. So I'll relink that page. I think that's where I had the button going before. I was desperate to fix the site because it was down when they told me to do this upgrade, and I didn't copy some things that would have helped me at this point, but we're slowly getting it back together. We're also just like how a couple seasons back we added YouTube, I'm adding some more destinations. So we're going to be available on Spotify if you use that. We're going to, looks like the Google Play will be on the Google Podcasts. That should be showing up on you should be able to find us in the search engine here shortly too. So I'll include some links for those two, some different ways to listen. Like I mentioned, the YouTube, we do try to pay attention. Sometimes people comment there. Mixed Reality had that comment this week, so we'll make sure to include those things when it seems appropriate in the listener feedback show too.
Yeah, and if anybody's having problems that we're not aware of, please, if we're not mentioning it, we're not aware of it, I guess. So, just let us know if you're having trouble and what you're using to try to access the website.
Do our best to help. I wasn't able to help one gentleman in Australia, unfortunately. So
well, but it worked from your iPad, so we couldn't find a problem.
Yeah, it was.
But just
anyway,
just
we'll do our best to try to help you if you let us know your.
Click on Read More.
Yeah, you'll see the full show notes that way.
The full page will be there again. Just click on it.
They made some changes to try to make the content render appropriately across all the different platforms, mobile and, the computers and whatever, tablets, things like that. And so some of the things that were available to me before are no longer available to me. So I can't actually roll them back and make it look a certain way because they've taken those options away.
Because if we could, we would.
Yeah. Well, we're still working on it.
Though all of it's over my head, so it's all on you, baby.
Yep. Good deal. Any predictions you want to make?
I'm still leaning toward B right now.
Yeah, you gotta think that, and I just don't think the Goliaths are gonna lose.
You know what? I might even put Natalie safe myself.
Yeah, take some safe points while you can get them.
Point because of Dan being.
What if she's here deep into the game? She could be here well past the post-merge if a pagonging is in place.
That's what I was saying. If they keep
you'll have burned all your safe points.
Oh, shut up. And put her safe that much. But she could go deeper than she would have had they gone to tribal council earlier.
Yep.
So there's no question in my mind if they had gone the first or second week that Natalie would be gone.
Did I answer the question about the glasses? They do give them contacts. I don't remember if I answered. Someone asked that.
You kind of said it during.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they do give them contacts if they can have those, and they have solution for them that's available for them in the med kit.
So are you leaning toward B as well, or do you think Carl was crying a lot over losing, Pat, and it might hit him hard if he's...
I don't think he was crying about losing Jessica like somebody said. I don't think that was the big thing. He was, in his extra video, he saw himself in Pat, and so he saw his dream crashing the way Pat's did.
He was hurting for Pat.
Yeah, because of that.
He knew what the dream was like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just felt so badly that he went out that way.
Yeah. I guess the more I think about it, the more impressed I am with Elizabeth. I think she's really, Lyrsa is a weak link, and she's a meat shield for Elizabeth. So Elizabeth's protecting her meat shield. She knows she'll have value for her down the road. So I don't know what else Lyrsa brings to the game, but she's protection for Elizabeth, and Elizabeth was sharp enough to see that. So, as someone else mentioned, it very well could be Gabby, because Gabby's another person to potentially take out. It just depends on. It's going to depend on how Elizabeth works out what's best for her. If she wants to try to win, or if she needs to keep the weaker in front of her.
Well, if Gabby and Christian were smart, they'd want to keep Lyrsa around as a shield as well.
Yeah, maybe see her that way.
So that when it gets down, that if they make a tight 4, and so
I don't think Davy's going to play his hidden immunity idol for B. So if they do go after B, which doesn't seem to bode well for them to have any kind of physical response in the female realm. I don't think any of those. I don't think Gabby or Lyrsa or Elizabeth can come near what B can do in certain circumstances. Granted, she just, I don't think that any of them would have done any better on the ladder than she did either. It's just having
Elizabeth
her do
might.
it. No, I don't think so.
Out of the ladies.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't know that Gabby would, and I don't think
up there,
Lyrsa would either, because she's.
Yeah, I don't.
As short as B, I think.
Elizabeth's carrying the weight to star for 39 days. She's not carrying the weight to do those kind of physical challenges necessarily.
I think you underestimate that.
I'm not saying that she couldn't do it. I just don't think that it would it would not be easier for her.
Heard.
Yeah. All right. So B. Yeah, leaning towards B.
So you are too.
Yeah, I think so right now.
That concerns me. If we're all leaning toward B, it's probably going to be a surprise.
And everybody put Natalie safe. There we go.
That might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So everybody get a point off of that.
Yeah. Anything else, Crazy Moose Eyes?
No, just a reminder to everybody who plays JSFL. Don't forget to make your picks before the deadline of 7:30 Eastern and 4:30 Pacific time on Wednesdays.
All right, have a good one. We'll be back after this next awesome episode. I'm predicting it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it.